I am about to learn more about the new Nokia Lumia 630 Dual SIM and the great features brought by the latest Windows Phone 8.1 OS. So, to help us learn more about it, let me call on the Global Product Marketing Manager of Lumia Devices, Mr. Koduvayur.
Wow. I was told that Philippines launch events are pretty packed and pretty full, but this is amazing audience. I should be clicking few pictures too. But then these are amazing products, guys, and thanks for being here. Let me quickly walk you through Lumia 630 and what it all stands about. Yeah. Am I audible at the back? Is my audio clear? Perfect. So, when I got this brief and when our team was working on Lumia 630, and when we were given the task, we had 3 clear objectives. The first one is to make a Lumia dual SIM phone. So yes, all of you were asking for a dual SIM, and we heard it loud and clear in Finland. So we did start working on a Lumia dual SIM. The second objective was to have the latest operating system. Especially at these price points, consumers want the latest operating system. They don't want to wait for 6 months or 8 months to get an upgrade. So we are launching it with the latest operating system, Windows Phone 8.1, and also Lumia Cyan. And the third brief that we had was uncompromised performance. Don't just compromise on something, but give us everything. Give us the speed that the consumers at this price point want. And we are delivering on it with a quad-core processor and a beautiful design. And if you look at it, this is slick, super slim. So as a device, when you touch it, when you hold it, it's perfect on your hand. You love it when you touch it. And especially the colors, when you look at it, it's a personal story. The orange, the yellow, the green, white, and black, everything in matte finish looks premium, and you want to hold it more and more. What makes this device special? If you look at the display, it has a 4.5-inch display and clear black display. You just need to use it in sunlight to actually feel and experience this. The black becomes blacker, and you will be able to read even more clearly. That's beautiful. And it's a Gorilla Glass 3, so you need not be concerned about scratches, and it's scratch resistant obviously with that. If I look at it overall in terms of the internals, what does it have? It's a dual SIM device. It's the first Lumia dual SIM device that we are announcing. Super smooth, that's what we want. And importantly, it has a memory card slot where you can extend it by 128 GB. So you will have data as much as you want. And with Windows Phone 8.1, you can actually install applications and games on the memory card. Super smooth. And let's look at what Windows Phone 8.1 actually brings and what does Lumia Cyan actually bring. I'm sure that's what you want to see in terms of experience. Let me quickly take the device. Let's see if it works. It works really well. All right. So Windows Phone 8.1. We all know that the most personal smartphone operating system right now in the planet is Windows Phone. Most of you I saw were using a Lumia devices, and you know how to use a Lumia device, so you would agree that this is the personal phone, personalized phone where you can actually have the tiles, customize your tiles, and customize your information. But something that we got as a feedback from Lumia 1520, from some of the bloggers and some of you in this room, was that you love the third extra column. You wanted that column across price point. You didn't want it for high-end smartphone. You want it for a 520. You wanted it for a 630 dual SIM kind of a phone. Now we are bringing the extra column into it. It's simple and then it's beautiful. Let me show you this thing. Yes. So as you saw, I just swiped it from top down, and you have a notification center, and which is an action center. It just does not give the notifications, but it's an action center. How does it work? Simple, so you can have the shortcuts on the top, as you can see the 4 blue and the black one. So you can actually customize it, and you can have different shortcuts here. One of the icons that you can see on the extreme right is the Windows PC. So yes, you can project your screen even without a wire onto a Miracast enabled device. So if your TV or if your screen has HDMI, just put it on even without a cable, and it works really well. We wanted to show it today, but because we didn't have a projector, we couldn't. But then do try this at home, and it's pretty good. What's so different? I used a word called Action Center. In most of the platforms, if you look at it, you can click on a notification or you can read a notification. But in this, when you click on a notification, it takes you to the application, it opens it, and it takes you to the exact point where you can start acting on it. So this is what consumers wanted. This is what consumers asked for it. Bring us the notification center. You have it as an even improved one action center. I discussed a lot about personalized phone, and even Gianna was actually saying that this is the most personalized platform. Why is it so personalized? Okay, let's have a quick raise of hands in the room. How many of you look at your phone more than 50 times a day? More than 100 times a day? More than 200 times a day? Wow, you guys need to get a life. Kidding. So I do look at my device more than 200 times a day, and I spend more time with the device than my family or my friends, and mostly with work. So I want it to be more personalized, right? So let's look at it. How more personalized can you make? Let me select a picture. I have an option here of my wife or my nephew. I'll take my nephew who is 2 years old. Look at it. Look at the screen transform. So now that 200 times when I look at my phone, I'll look at my nephew and I will still get all the content. So the important point here is that you don't lose your content and you get everything pretty smooth. And then one more thing, which we all requested for, is typing. If you look at consumers at this price point, and even most of you when you are answering your emails and messages, the thing is you keep typing on the phone. You want it to be faster, you want it to be better, and you want it to be personal. Your contact names, your friends' names, everything should come onto the keyboard. And even in India at least, we use a language called English, which is Hindi plus English. So we keep typing English words, Hindi words in English. I assume it's similar even in Philippines. So if you want to do that, the device actually learns from it. Let's try it out. And this is the world's fastest keyboard. And we have tested it with different consumers, different users have tried it, and you would notice why. So it's a workflow keyboard which detects the shape writing. So as you move your fingers, it detects what you are trying to type, and then it actually does it better. So let's give it a try. Let's start again. And you would see that how fast you can type and how you can make it. Or maybe I can type something else. So you're just moving your fingers. So you're not typing it. It's more like, say, with the shape writing, it detects it faster. And now let's try it over cocktails later today on how it performs. But this is super smooth, and this is what consumers wanted all the time. And you got it. Let's quickly move on to then the dual SIM. Let's look at the dual SIM overall. In dual SIM, when we have implemented the dual SIM, there are different things that we have done. The first one which you would notice is on the screen, on the top, the red dot which you see. So you would see that with the dual screen, you will have access to both the SIM cards, and you will know exactly which one is data enabled and which one is not, and at what speed the data is enabled. So that's more important for consumers when they're actually trying to balance the data charges. The second thing that you would notice, which is super cool, is the colors. So this one is the light green, which takes the background color, and this one is blue. So accidentally, like now I'm roaming from, say I'm traveling from Finland to Philippines, I don't accidentally click on or dial from a Finland number. I can still use a Filipino number. Super simple, super color coded, so you would never make accidental calls. And now let's go in deeper into it. So as you can see, history from the SIM 1, which I have called it as Finland work. My cousins in India call this as girlfriend and then parents kind of thing. So they have different names to it. So you can obviously give it. But then Finland work has history, speed dial, and then you can just go to the contact. And when you're making a call, you can select for your family and friends different things. So as you can see on the bottom right, with a simple toggle, you can select which SIM you want to call them from. Pretty simple. So SIM 1 or SIM 2, that's the dual SIM's purpose. You can do everything from the dialer. For some of us who don't mind using two SIMs and don't mind the cost, you can also combine these two. So with a simple click of a button, just link tiles and simple. So when you go to your home screen, you just see one dialer. Why is it useful? Consumers, these are simple things that consumers wanted in dual SIM. They want to control the devices, they want to manage their devices, they want to manage their data costs. And one more thing which we have done is if you just look out settings, and then we look at data, or you can also go to settings from here, and then all settings. Let's look at cellular. Now this is a big one. How do you manage your data costs? So this dual SIM implementation, Smart SIM allows you to do it. How just select which one should use the data all the time. So if you have a night tariff, if you have a day tariff, or something like that on a different SIM card, then you can use that always for your data. Pretty simple and pretty convenient for you. So that's more about the data and then the dual SIM. One last thing on SIM that we have done well is smart dual SIM. So one, you can remove the SIM card without removing the battery. So just pull out the back cover and then you can insert a SIM card and then it would automatically reboot. So the system will do everything, you don't need to worry about it. The second smart dual implementation that we have done, say imagine you have a SIM 1. Your SIM card 1 is what receives a call and you answer a call on SIM card, on the first one. In my case, it's a Finland work SIM card. I'm answering a call and then if I receive a call on my Filipino number, what happens to that call? It actually gets answered as an answering machine or a call forward, and then you will be able to receive the message later. And similarly with SMSs, so even if you are on a call with SIM 1, if you receive an SMS on SIM 2, you will be getting the forward later. So dual SIM, it's a smart dual SIM implementation, which means that you will never lose a call or never lose data. Pretty simple. Now let's look at the next one, which is Sensor Core SDK. So this is something we announced. And if you look at it, what is Sensor Core? Most of us, how many of you have a fitness band here? Nike Fit or some other Jawbone or something else? Do you use one of those? There's only one fit person in the room. There are two actually who are conscious. But most of them, at least consumers these days, are using most of these fitness bands. They're using the Nike Fuel Band, they're using the Jawbone, they're using different stuff. Why do we need to invest into those kind of price bands or into those kind of fitness bands when you have most of the sensors on your smartphone? This is the device that has most of the smartphone sensors, right? So we want to leverage it more. How can we do it? So what we announced is something called Sensor Core. So Sensor Core SDK is available for all the developers starting last month. With this, what can you do? Like as an example for me, I wanted to look fit like this, but then in reality, I am like this. So let's be honest with it. So if I need to do something better, so this Sensor Core actually helps you track your fitness really well. Let's look at an application, Bing Health and Fitness. Super cool app. If you have a Lumia device, do try it out. It's brilliant. So what does it give you? As an example here, you can look at it. So what kind of workouts have you done? It counts your steps, it counts your running, it counts how much time you have been doing and how many calories you have burnt. Super, super smooth, and you need not do anything. Even if it's logged, even if it's in your pocket, it can do that. And important thing with the Sensor Core, it doesn't use much of battery. So if people like you who are data hungry, who use a lot of your smartphone, you need not worry about battery at all. It's super cool. And it also gives you different workouts. So if you want to have a six-pack ab or if you want to have a lean size 0 kind of a shape, you get all of this with Sensor Core. All right. Let's next look at installing apps and games. This is one thing, again, most of you bloggers, technology experts, and also consumers have been asking us about, even partners actually have been asking us about. Lumia devices were not able to install apps from the memory card. So consumers who were using a 520 or other devices were not able to install apps from the memory card. So most of them started asking, so can we install applications from the memory card? Yes, with Windows Phone 8.1, with Lumia Cyan, you will be able to install apps from the memory card. How can you do it? Let's look at a demo. So before that, you can actually see where the apps and games are installed. So simple storage sense, this comes only with the Windows Phone 8.1. So you can see storage where the apps and games are stored. I click on SD card, I can see this is the storage. I click on apps and games, I can see that Asphalt 8 is actually installed on my memory card. And as you can see, it's a 1.65 GB file. So if you are an engineer or if you are a technical guy, you know that it's very, very heavy file. And now let's try to open that from the memory card. I'll just close others so that it works really well for you. And let's test it, and you can compare it with your smartphones and you can test out the opening time. I have not demoed it before, I have not tried it before, so let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It should supposedly open by now, yes. So about 15 to 16 seconds is where in this demo, especially even with a screen projection. But if you go back and if you try it out without the projection, you would see that it opens in about 12 seconds. Now try it out in your own smartphones, which are supposed to be very powerful, which you have paid a premium. Try to open it, and you would realize that this is a super competitive device in that price point. Yep. And then, if I just summarize what I've done. So I've just given you a sneak peek of what Windows Phone 8.1 is, what Lumia Cyan is. The more things you get is the here Maps and here Drive Plus. So global navigation. For people who are traveling across the globe, you get free maps and free navigation. So you don't need to pay for any of the maps or any of the navigation devices. You get it for free with your device and no data roaming because you can have offline maps. Super, super smooth. And the second thing that you also get with this device is in terms of all the cool Windows Phone applications. So the store is growing, store is developing, so you get access to all the applications. And importantly, also the MS Office. So full MS Office experience. So if you are, again, if you get a lot of PowerPoints and emails, then you get all of them for free. So in summary, if I look at it, it's the first ever Lumia dual SIM device, which we are super proud of, and this is one of the first, and we believe that after 520, this will be one of the best sellers for Lumia. Super competitive price point, so I see a lot of nodding heads here, so I'm sure that you believe in that and you want to try that out. The second one is it comes with the latest Windows Phone 8.1 operating system. Super, super cool. You need to use it to believe it, how efficient it is. And the third one is uncompromised performance. With the display, with the clear black display, 4.5-inch display, plus quad-core processor, you will never find compromised performance on your device. With that, thank you, and I'll give it back to Gianni.
Lumia 630 Dual SIM. Now, Karel, I'm sure that our friends and partners from the media want to know more about Windows Phone 8.1 OS and, of course, the new Nokia Lumia 630 Dual SIM. May we have back on stage Raghunath to join Karel for our Q&A. Ladies and gentlemen, the floor is now open for your questions. Please use the available microphones and kindly introduce your name and media outfit before you ask your questions.
Just a question about availability. It's clearly targeted to the emerging markets. I know it's available in India next week. Where else in the world? Who else in the world is getting it first in terms of May availability?
I would rather not answer it as May availability, but then with Lumia 630, what we have announced is that it would not be just one or few markets that we start with, but we will do a big bang launch. So you will find it in multiple markets actually pretty soon. So it's not just about few markets, but
Can you
many
mention
markets.
Which countries?
I would not have the list of markets, but then APAC and IMEA would be the focus for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Yes.
Hello, my name is RV from Nokia Revolution. My question is, we've seen the massive support for the Nokia X here in the Philippines, from its launch, TV adverts, and billboard. Will the Lumia 630 will be getting the same treatment?
You mean from consumers, from users?
The same promotion that we got from Nokia X was massive. Are we going to get the same treatment for the Lumia 630? Thank you.
So we are, of course, super excited about this new device, and it deserves attention, and already now you can see the teasers around for this device. So yes, we will promote this device as well in the Philippines.
Yes.
The floor is now open for more questions. Are there any more questions on the floor?
This is a good audience.
Yes. Do you have another question?
Sorry, I have a follow-up question again from Nokia Revolution. part of a disappointment for some Windows Phone gamers is having a 512 megabytes of RAM. For the Lumia 630, we do have the 512 megabytes of RAM. Why Microsoft opted to go for a lower RAM on this device, and how would you address it for apps compatibility?
All right. So I would not take it as a disappointment at all. If you look at 520, Lumia 520, which is one of the best-selling devices in this price point across the world, not just Lumia, but across that price point, it had a 512 MB RAM, and it performs really well. And if you look at games, there are very few games that require 1 GB RAM. Most of the developers are actually trying to bring it down to 512 MB. So I would not at all look at it as a compromise. Yes, it might be, some people might perceive it, but Windows Phone as an operating system is not that power hungry. It doesn't require the 1 GB or 2 GB RAM to perform really well. So I would say that just try it out with 630 the way I opened an Asphalt 8. You need to just play around with it and you will love it. You would not even feel that it's a 512 MB device.
I would recommend RV to challenge him on Asphalt game that he was showing earlier.
Yes.
Are there any more questions on the floor?
There's one
Yes.
there.
I'm Ron from Tech the Gadget. Sir, may I ask, aside from the free MS Office, are you gonna be offering a free of number gigabytes for OneDrive?
So is there an offer for free OneDrive?
Yeah, for the OneDrive service.
So we do have 7 GB OneDrive service that comes with. If you create a new live account, you do get 7 GB for free. So at this point, that's the 7 GB of OneDrive plus 8 GB inbuilt memory. Plus you can increase the memory on your own up to 128 GB. So that's a cool package, which I believe. Yeah, thanks.
Are there any more questions on the floor? Yes, sir.
Come on there.
I'm Botch from NoipyGeeks.com. Are there any accessories that's going to coincide with the launch of the Nokia Lumia 630?
Yes, so we are launching MD12, which is a very nice speaker that you have seen across the presentation and in the video, which is matching the colors actually very nicely. And then we have also the treasure tag that's coming about the same time, which is the proximity sensor that allows you to track your things and belongings in very nice way on the Lumia device.
And like every other answer, there's one more thing, which is the treasure tag mini. So we just announced it a couple of days back that there is a proximity sensor mini that has been announced globally. So even that should be accessible for this device. So there will be in total 3 hero devices and other headsets and other stuff that we already have, Monster and Callout. So you have a cool package of accessories, yes, which
All
you would need to
colors.
buy outbox. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
The floor is still open for questions. Are there any more questions? Yes, sir, in the red.
Hi, Karel. Good evening. Rafi of DigitalSpy.com. How long are you going to hold Nokia brand now that Microsoft is in the picture?
Okay, so as you heard, Microsoft is having the license for the Nokia brand. Today we are talking about the Lumia devices, and there will be Nokia brand on the low entry devices or affordable devices like entry series and Nokia X series.
Thank you. Are there any more questions on the floor? Yes, sir.
Edsel from International. I'd just like to ask if these phones can upgrade to the Nokia X Android features. Can it upgrade to that level?
It can be upgraded to the future operating system, which Windows Phone versions, but I'm not sure what are you expecting out of Nokia X Android features?
No, you're venturing into Android. So basically what I'm asking, if this series, the Lumia 630, can upgrade to what we are getting from the Nokia X.
Okay. Now, so if I look at Nokia X, it's between, say, the Asha phones and then the Lumia phone. So it's the intermediate bridge where you have the Nokia's brand and the feature, and then in terms of hardware, you have the Microsoft services. That's the first experience that users at that price point will get. And then it also has the Android app ecosystem, so the access to App Store. So that's the Nokia X, which is in between Lumia and then the Asha. But if you look at Lumia phones, they are our flagship smartphones. They run on Windows Phone, and they are for the high-end smartphone users where we bring in innovation. Like we showed some of you here, but if you look at the Nokia Creative Studio, or if you look at any of our camera lenses like Nokia Glam Me, so those kind of imaging innovations, we are bringing it only onto our Lumia devices. So if you want the high-end experiences, innovations, and then the experiences, then those will be available only to Lumia. So we have a clear differentiator on why we do Nokia X and how we position Lumia at this point. Thanks.
We have time for one more question on the floor. Yes, sir.
How about the LTE version of the 635?
Very good question. Thank you for that. So there will be LTE version, Nokia Lumia 635 LTE, that will be available later on its Globe, and you will have their Gcash app pre-installed as well.
There we go. Thank you very much, Karel and Raghu, for enlightening our guests even more on the new Nokia Lumia 630 Dual SIM.
Thank you.
If you guys would like to dig in deeper, Karel and Raghu will be indulging you with exclusive interviews after the program. Just get in touch with our friends from Code and Wolf. Meanwhile, may we ask Karel and Raghu to please remain on stage as we take photos of today's milestone event.
Can I get one phone, please? Yeah.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Sir Karel, please stay on stage for the next part of the program. Now, before we close the program, I would like to make a special announcement. Tonight, we're actually giving away the Nokia Lumia 630 Dual SIM. So, if Lady Luck smiles upon you, you'll be one of the